Okay, it says we're live. Let's see if we can get everything started here. So I'm going to get a few people in here, start chatting. Let me make sure everything's working good on this. Hey, Jerome, how are you? Us Jones boys starting up right ourselves this morning, are we? Glad to see you in here, Jerome. Yep, I'm glad to see you in here. I'm just up here chilling and actually chilling at my little shop up here. I don't have my big heater on. We don't turn. We got a big heater back there, as you see up there on the suspended up there. One of those oil burns recycled oil and everything, and I don't fire it up here at the shop. I got a little foot heater, and I'm just working it that way this morning. Hey James, how are you? Cold in Wisconsin, is it? I'm waiting on your loads to be picked up. Yep. Hey Jamie, how are you? You're in good shape, are you, James? Well, that's good. Yeah, it's I think it's 50 degrees outside right now. I broke out the sweatshirt. I broke out the sweatshirt this morning because it's chilly enough to warrant that up here at the shop and everything. And I'm just setting out and I'm gonna set in my little corner right here and try to stay warm. Yeah, 80 degrees. Yeah, that's what you get with. Or is it? You're in Florida, aren't you, James? Yeah, it's not 80 degrees up here. We're starting to get the cool wave a little bit, and that's that's the difference. Yeah, I'd rather be in Florida, I guess, than Michigan or Wisconsin. Shoo. Yeah, I'm not much of a cold weather person. I can't take the cold weather. Yeah, yeah, that's right. That's right. One thing I wanted to ask this morning, I don't know if you saw my title. Uh, have y'all noticed any of the changes with FedEx uh, in your area? I mean, they've started doing the merger and merging the express and the ground together. They're going to do it, I think, at a slow pace. But I think initially they were going to do it real fast and just kind of bam, get it done. But I think now they're going to do it a little more slow, methodical pace because they see some of the problems they're having. You're not buying anything these days, huh? What that means, James, is they're merging the FedEx Express with the FedEx Ground. FedEx Express has been that's the original FedEx part, and they handle mainly packages and I mean envelopes and overnight express stuff. That's what they handle, and what they're going to do is merge it with FedEx Ground, which is the bigger packages and everything. Yeah, yeah, they're going to be merging that, and I'm just wondering if anybody's seen the effect of it in their area because you're going to see more and more of the FedEx Ground and fewer of the FedEx Express. They're going to basically weed out the FedEx Express in some areas. Uh, in some areas, probably quicker than others. I've heard of some. I didn't know if y'all have noticed that at all, and you may not notice it. That may be the thing that that FedEx is wanting to do is to make it a slow transition and it not affect any of the customers at all. Well, the FedEx pilots, they're in their own union, and they've been uh, out there on an island by themselves for years. Because actually, I think the FedEx pilots, they're governed under a railroad union or something. It's a different union than regular pilots, like the pilots for all the other airlines and everything. They're on a different union altogether. Uh, I don't know how they got in it, but somehow know that they're on an entirely different union. Now they won't be affected because the FedEx pilots have been flying the same stuff for years anyway. Anything that's overnight, they get it. Uh, the things that are not overnight goes freight. So anything that's critical and goes uh, overnight will go through the FedEx pilots and the FedEx Express routes exactly like it's always been. So I don't think that's going to be affected in the least. But I think we'll start seeing the effects of the FedEx Express. What they'll probably do is they're going to start taking some of these routes away from FedEx Express and putting them over onto FedEx ground. And what's a lot of it has to do with the overnight stuff. That's what FedEx Express primarily. That's was their kicker. That's their thing. They could knock off that uh, early morning stuff, or say get it by 11 o'clock, or have it the next day by noon or 2 o'clock. There's all sort of different descriptions on that. So that's what it's going to do. Hey, Chris, how are you? Yeah, I see that little girl of yours is she's growing like a weed, isn't she? She's going to be up and driving a car before you know it. I mean, it'll go like that, Chris. It will go like that. I mean, those children, when they start walking and talking, and next thing you know, they're asking daddy for the car keys, and that'll happen to you too quick to talk about. You just remember that. You remember what I'm saying here. I mean, one of these days you'll remember, say, old Mike said that years ago, and it will. Yep, she's 2 going on 20. That's what I mean. It'll be 20 before you know it. I mean, it seems like a snap of the finger that my little grandson, uh, I mean, I remember him being pint size and just as cute as a button, and now he's a freshman in college. So it'll change. It'll change just like that. I mean, it's something. Hey, Ralph, how are you? Yeah. Yeah, I know it. It'll go fast, Chris. It will go fast. Uh, I mean, it's scary fast, is what it is. I mean, you just won't realize it. I mean, life is so short. I mean, it seems like no time that I was 18, and it's been a while. It's been a long while, and uh, it's one of those things that scares you when you sit back and think about it, how quick our life goes away, and that sort of stuff. Oh, Ricky's wife had a baby. Okay, well, great, great. I tell Ricky congratulations. I'm glad to hear that. You're going to populate the West, aren't you? Yeah, or the Midwest. Yeah, you're gonna keep the Midwest. You're gonna keep the Midwest busy. I'm gonna turn this little foot heater away from me a little bit. I put a little I put a little foot heater down there to knock the chill off, and it got real warm real quick. Oh, you already went to see her? Okay, that's good. Oh, me. Well, has anybody, Chris or James or anybody, have y'all noticed any change in your FedEx deliveries over the past 3 or 4 months? I mean, I haven't really noticed it here, and I'm thinking that FedEx is really wanting us not to notice. Uh, they want the transition to be as seamless as you can be, but they're going to be, you know, they may do it a little more dramatically in the oncoming months. I don't know if they will or won't, or it may just be such a seamless thing that we don't even see anything about it unless you're working at FedEx. I mean, they're you know, and I guess also unless you're a shipper too, unless you're a shipper and you ship and they tell you uh, the different options and everything you got. Well, that's one of the things I'm thinking about, Chris. I mean, a lot of them are going to be obligated to get to certain areas earlier in the morning because of the fact that they may have morning deliveries in that area or overnight deliveries. Because FedEx Ground is going to start having, the overnight deliveries along with FedEx Express as they merge them together, and so their overnight shipments are going to dictate where they're going to have to go. And I'm wondering how much the transition is going to change, or if it's going to change the way it is. And a lot of it may just be internal too, that you and I won't see because uh, the guy that's got the CSP or the contracted service provider that's in that area, he may have to modify his way he does routes and way he does express things, and that may be what it has to be. They may have to get just a small van as opposed to, having just one or two drivers like that. May have to get a dedicated driver just to do the overnights. Well, they're going to do it. They're going to do it, and what they're going to do basically is they're going to zone off all these different zip codes. In other words, if, like for me, I'm 28021. So whoever's got 28021, they're going to say you need X amount of trucks, or they'll designate how many trucks you need. And I would say that if there's a lot of known express routes, uh, or they've got everything charted. So I mean, they would know, that XYZ company is pretty much well known for doing overnights and all this sort of stuff. I would imagine they would kind of alert you that you're going to have to be in that area of the zip code or that load area at a certain time, and they'll make it work. It's going to be tough on them though. It's going to be a tough thing, and I mean, I wouldn't want to be that. Now, it won't affect the line haul at all. Uh, Other than, line haul will probably get some of the work that Express line haul was getting, because Express has a line haul too that brought stuff in that wasn't overnight. And I would imagine that uh, FedEx Ground will start picking that up and transporting, because a lot of it goes to the same area, and that'll change things a lot. Yeah, yeah, I think that's what's going to happen, Jamie. I think you'll see that. You overslept. Last week's when you should overslept when they changed the clocks, Joy. I guess you'll get two demerits today for oversleeping. No, no, Jane. No, FedEx Ground has been doing home deliveries for years, It's just the fact that the overnight thing is, I mean, it's sort of a duplication of services. And this is one of the reasons that I know that FedEx Express and FedEx Ground have been wanting to merge together, or reason the company wants to merge together is because there was a overlap uh, of services. I mean, basically FedEx Express and FedEx Ground were going to the same locations almost at the same time. So they were seeing that, and through all their studies, and they're going to change some of that. Now, one thing it will do is there'll be an increase of there'll be a lot of new opportunity at FedEx Ground, and I would like I said, I imagine there will be uh, a change of the guards sort of thing. It some the FedEx Express people are paid employees directly by FedEx, and that's one reason they're wanting to get away from that too. I mean, uh, why would you not? Why would you not want to have a CSP worry about the taxes and everything else, and save yourself a ton of money? And they don't have to buy the equipment. That at that point they're going to cut down on equipment. They're going to cut down on employees and employee taxes, insurance, all that. That's FedEx will come out with smelling like a rose on this deal if it goes smooth enough, because they would have cut out a huge expenditure through employees and insurance and equipment maintenance, all that sort of stuff. I mean, so that's where Express is going to save a lot. Yeah, the home delivery and FedEx Ground merged together. They actually did that before I left. They were merging that the home delivery was sort of a spinoff of Ground when it initially started. They just spun it off and said we're gonna segregate the home delivery from the business delivery. And they saw that again, the same problem was arising. Some of the same people were going into the same locations, and it looked like a duplication of services. So they merged that back in. Uh, when they got rid of the smart post, that was another thing too. They had an operation called Smart Post, and I tell you what, hold on a second, guys. I'm about to burn myself up. Let me unplug my heater. Y'all keep on talking. I'll be right there. I'm gonna unplug my heater. Let me get that and set back down. Whoops. Uh, y'all kept talking, didn't you? All right. Well, yeah, they're trying to be more profitable, James. That's for sure. Yeah, well, and that's what it's going to be with everybody. I mean, uh, all the drivers are going to be subcontractor. I mean, the contractors. Now, the drivers themselves work for the contractor. So the drivers you see are drivers that are driving for a contractor. If they work for FedEx Ground, they're not a subcontractor. They're actually an employee of that contractor. Yeah, they basically FedEx is that's what FedEx is wanting to do, is to do away with the employee model and make it a contracted model. And then they like I said, they for one, there'll be no taxes on them and they won't have to pay the federal taxes and the matching funds, and two, the insurance. Three, they won't have to worry about equipment, and four, maintenance on equipment. So there's 4 or 5 strong things that they'll be able to save on immediately, and that's the purpose of them wanting to switch over uh, from FedEx Express to FedEx Ground. I mean, it's a cost savings, a huge cost savings, because there's a lot of expense on the CSP, which I was a CSP uh, when I had my tractor trailer trucks. Now I didn't have the problem that the small guy has. These guys that's got the small vans now they've got a issue on their own. They it's a tough situation. Yeah. Well, you know, UPS could go to that format, but they just haven't. They joined the union and they got the likes of the union and it's I would imagine it's a thought process that they wish they had, and they probably wish they had done that. UPS is older as far as the package delivery than FedEx. UPS started, I want to say in the 40s. I mean, they didn't really grow big until the late 60s, early 70s in this area. Uh, but once they got big, they got really big. And then they weren't even Teamsters until they've only been Teamsters, I want to say the last 15 years, something like that. 16 years, maybe 20, I don't know. But they haven't always been Teamsters. Uh, Teamsters, I mean, they had such a big workforce. And see, that's why FedEx wants to stay away from that. They don't want their workforce ever to unionize. I mean, when they are in when the FedEx Express uh, drivers had they gotten together, they could have unionized too. And if they had unionized, they could have put them under Teamsters, but they didn't. Teamsters was never successful with FedEx, and now they're going to go by the wayside more or less. And once they've done that, then they can't unionize the small contractor. I mean, they're too fractured. They're too small. Well, no, I think well DHL was never big in the United States, James. I mean, they DHL came from overseas. I think they're a Dutch. I think they were a Dutch manufacturer. I mean, entity, and they were big overseas. And I think they still are, but they came over here thinking they were going to take over. I mean, I know if you're old enough, you can remember the commercials they had out a few years ago when they showed all these DHL package vans coming into the area and all that sort of stuff. And DHL, I mean, they used a contractor model too, but they never were big and still are not big. And I mean, they're hanging on out there. I mean, I'd venture to say DHL they don't pick up a single digit percentage of the freight that UPS and FedEx pick up. I mean, DHL is way way down on the list. I mean, they're not big in this area at all. Yeah, I know it. I mean, I suppose I don't even see. I haven't seen a DHL delivery in my area in years. I mean, I've had one or two that have come by in the past 10 years, but not many, not many. I mean, and that goes to show you they're not big at all. But they tried to be. They came on and did all this national advertising and act like they were going to kick butt and all this sort of stuff. And I think all they did was just waste a bunch of money on advertising because they definitely didn't kick butt. And it takes a while. I mean, I know firsthand being an, one of the original RPS contractors how much of a struggle it was when we started as an RPS. I mean, I was a package contractor when I first started. That's the only way I could get in. And then after 6 months, I got into I switched over to line haul and took over the line haul in Hickory, where I was contracted, and then it grew from there. And I was the one and only line haul contractor for a year or two in Hickory, and then I switched to the hub in Kernersville, and then from the hub, we just grew from there. But it was a whole different thing. It was a whole different thing, and to watch RPS grow. I'm glad I was down. I'm glad I was in that part of the era, and it was easier for me too. The transition to grow because I saw every step of the way what they were doing, and it was pretty amazing. Yeah, well, I think that's the problem. All these have got to pay good, and if they don't pay good, they're out. Uh, it is what it is. So I hope for the best for everybody with the transition of FedEx employees over to FedEx Ground, the ones that do want to transition, and for the ones that want to get out, there'll be some that'll go ahead and probably take their retirement too. You never know, but it is what it is with that. It is what it is. Have you guys seen any difference in y'all's delivery? Have you seen the transition? Have you have you seen more FedEx Ground or less FedEx Express in your area, or have you even asked the guys when they come around? No, I don't think that. I mean, well, they're not going to go down the route. DHL, DHL was a whole different entity. Now, DHL, they came in wrong, and they were never as big as FedEx. FedEx is big. I mean, DHL was just small pin. They were a small pimple on their butt. I can tell you that. They they never were huge or big like FedEx and UPS. Those are your two big ones. I mean, they both are big. I mean, I tell my wife, and I notice this anytime you see a shot uh, on TV, like that, they'll show a news report or whatever, and it shows traffic of any description, whether it's downtown in New York City or some other city or whatever, you almost invariably see a FedEx truck in the background. I mean, watch that sometime and you'll see what I'm saying. I notice it because of me working at FedEx, but I mean, you'll see that almost invariably you'll see if you see a live TV shot or even a taped one or whatever, and it shows traffic in the background, invariably you'll see a FedEx truck in the background, and it's just they are all over the place. I can tell you that. There's uh, thousands, I mean, tens of hundreds of thousands of FedEx trucks out there. So they're a big entity. I mean, and DHL never that like I said they weren't a speck of, they weren't a speck on the landscape at all in comparison to FedEx and UPS. Exactly, exactly, and they gear this so they can make money. But like every business, like every subcontractor, you're going to have some that run the business way better than others, and that's to me that's the defining point. I mean, I knew line haul contractors in Charlotte, where I was contracted from. They ran a lousy business, and some of them, I didn't see a lot go out of business, but I saw a few. I saw a few that went out of business or either sold their business and got out completely. And some people you can't give them the golden goose without them trying to kill the golden goose that laid the golden egg. And that's what happens sometimes. I mean, you show them here's the golden goose, will lay you a golden egg every day, and then they want, like the old parable goes, they wanted to cut it open to see if there's a whole bunch inside at one time. And That's the problem that you get with subcontractors, and they have the means to weed out that type. I mean, it's not to say that those those people won't be weeded out, and that is one of the strong points they've got. And really, it's tough. I mean, they will weed out some good ones too, because if you get if your safety record goes down, whereas you're having a lot of accidents, I mean, they can pull your contract. Now they don't pull contracts right and left. They give you every opportunity to clean it up and make sure you get your job done right. Other words, they've got a, what do they call it? Something option to cure type thing, and it's different. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Jamie. You'll When you get out on the interstate, you'll see more FedEx ground trucks than you see UPS tractor trailer trucks. I mean, they're something, and a lot of people don't realize we have more planes in the air. I mean, when you go look on Transport Topics, which is the industry standard, the industry magazine that talks about all the things within trucking. Uh, FedEx has almost twice as many airplanes as UPS. Now the one you got to watch out for, and everybody's watching out for, is Amazon. Amazon's coming on like gangbusters. Uh, I mean, I know a little bit about the Amazon part too, because I was an early adopter of Amazon and thought it was going to grow and be a good contractor place, but it's terrible for the contractors. I mean, I would never suggest anybody contract Amazon, because they will chew you up and spit you out in a heartbeat. And they're doing their contractors that way. I would not want I wouldn't want to contract with them at all. And I've heard some nightmares with that. But like I said, I mean, they're so big. Amazon can keep pumping the money into it, and that's the difference between them and FedEx. Amazon has the mindset, they'll keep pumping money into something, even if it loses money, to make sure they get the job done. And after they continually do it, hopefully that they're going to start turning a profit. I mean, that's the way they do their entire business. They don't care if the XYZ warehouses will lose them money. They know if they continue on with it and shift profits around from other entities or whatever, that they'll make a profit somewhere. And they're squeezing out everybody. They're squeezing out every mom and pop's store in the nation. I mean, the nation, really the world. I mean, Amazon's GDP uh, is bigger than what was I read that I think their GDP their revenue is bigger than the GDP of of tons of countries. I mean, countries. I mean, it's something else. Oh yeah, Amazon. Hey, they're going through them right and left too now, James. That's the thing about it. And I will guarantee you this. Look at these Amazon vans. They got to be as new as they are. They have got more scratches and dents on those Amazon vans than I've ever seen with anybody else. And you'll notice that a lot of them still will have a solid white van, because they're having to go out and rent vans because they're tearing up their vans right and left. Uh, I'd like to have a body shop near places where the Amazon trucks are, because man, you could stay busy night and day repairing Amazon trucks. I mean, they definitely have probably got a huge safety record problem. But there again, they're contracted. Amazon, see, Amazon is smart with the trucking, because they took some of FedEx's best retired executives I mean, I know some personally, John Payne, who was an executive vice president for FedEx Ground. He took one of the head jobs to help start up the line haul. And, I got called by him and some of the other guys that had left FedEx to go to Amazon when they started it up. And that's why they got so many FedEx contractors, line haul contractors to go with them. I mean, they got them all over the United States and started up the different locations. And everybody with FedEx, there was a FedEx contractor, they jumped over to it and go, all right, that's going to be not one, but two good contracts we have. Well, I come to find out that Amazon contract wasn't worth the paper they wrote it on. Still isn't, from what I hear. I mean, it's not it's a daily thing. I mean, you're going to perform good daily, or they'll get rid of your butt the next week. I mean, it's you don't there are no excuse. Uh, I mean, if you have a truck that had a flat tire, it's like, well, where's your other truck that you can put on it? I mean, you can't invent a truck in seconds, and they wouldn't give you time to get a repair done. I mean, if you, I had a couple of instances. I had one like tires. I had one driver that had a flat tire. He ran over something on the yard at Amazon in Spartanburg, and he called me. We go to rush down there to get it. Here's the crazy thing about it: they wouldn't let us on the lot to fix the tire, even though they knew the truck had a flat tire. It had a flat front tire. That's my problem. And they said, well, take it outside and fix it. I said, it's a front tire. I can't. I said, I'll ruin my rim. We don't care. Get it off the lot. It's not our truck. Those kind of things. That's what you get into with Amazon. Yeah, well, they use all kind of stuff, Walter. Yeah, I've seen it. And I see a lot of, like I said, you'll see a lot of just white high cube vans out here running. Well, I know it. It's totally stupid. I can give you several stupid things that Amazon did, especially with line haul, and it was crazy. And even when they needed your help, they would come up with some stupid ideas. I think I've told everybody once or twice. I'll tell it again for the new people. But one Sunday afternoon, I was sitting around watching football, uh, just taking my time and relaxing, and they gave me a call. They said, "Could you go pick up a truck that we got broke down in the Asheville area?" I said, "Yeah, I can do that." I said, "I'm here in Cherryville." I said, "It'll take me 3 hours to get up there." And they said, "Oh no, that takes too long. That's too long. We need you to be up there in less than 2 hours." I said, "Well, I can't be up in Asheville in 2 hours." They said, "Okay, we'll get somebody else." I said, "That's fine, no problem." I mean, they were just calling me out of the blue to help them. Well, an hour or so later, they called me back. "Can you go get that up there at Asheville?" I said, "Sure." And so, well, what kind of time frame are you looking at? I said, 3 hours. It's still the same amount of miles. Oh no, no, we can't accept that. Well, this went on at least three times they did that. And now it's already 3 hours past from where they originally called me. And they called me and they said, and I said, listen, had you sent me on at the initial phone call, I would have already been up there. Well, they said, well, how long will it take you to get up there? I said, dude, it's the same. I said, 3 hours. If I crank up my truck right now, it'll be 3 hours before I can get up there. I said, plain and simple. And they said, well, go ahead. Well, I had no more, probably, I'd taken off, I'd accepted the load, and I took off bobtailing up to Asheville. And I was probably 30 minutes into the run, and I got a call from one of their line haul guys. They said, where are you at? I said, I'm almost up on I-40. They said, how far are you away from there? I said, I'm 2.5 hours out. Oh, well, you're late. I said, whoa, dude, I'm not late. I said, I might be late in your terms. I said, I'm not late. I said, I just got this assignment 30 minutes ago. Well, you should be up there and X amount of times. I said, guys, I have a truck, not an airplane. I cannot fly to your location just because some keyboard cowboy has typed it in and says I need to be up there. Well, when I finally got up there, they marked me initially late. And I was furious about that. I said, whoa. I said, I'm not going to be, they were going to basically, they were going to penalize me because I was late when they sent me, and I was the only person that they could find to do it in that area, evidently. And oh man, I had to go through all kind of hoops to make sure that I wasn't penalized on their debit or credit thing or what on their little chart thing, that I wasn't going to be marked as late because of the way their system was. I mean, that's some of the stupidity they got. I mean, I can go on with more and more. I've got 4 or 5 other tales I could tell about some of their stupidity, but that was one. That was one that I distinctly remember. And like I said, it's crazy how things like that happen. But you know, hopefully they got better. I don't know. Uh, I know all the original contractors that I knew that had contracts with Amazon have already left Amazon, and that was from probably close to 8 or 10 years ago. I can't remember. It's been a while now. Probably coming close to 10 years ago that we had that, and uh, it it is a change of pace, that's for sure. But getting back to the FedEx part now, the FedEx part, I think I hope hopefully this will be a smooth transition for everybody concerned. I mean, I would like to know if you guys see anything different, or if you see them closing down FedEx Express in your area, let me know. Of course, I think, like I said, the whole premise behind the way they're doing this is to do it seamless, so there's no disruption, or the customer won't know the difference. Basically, that I think that's their goal, and that's a good goal to have, is to make it as seamless as possible. Oh gosh, if I'd stayed, I believe I would have blown my brains out if I'd stayed with Amazon. But I left that. I left that. And my buddy, I know a lot of y'all remember uh, Landon Walker. I sold him a couple of routes, him and his wife, and he was an Amazon contractor. That's how he and I first met. Landon is the gas man for the 24 car on the NASCAR circuit, and I don't know if he's going to retire this year or not from NASCAR, but he he is. We helped him get some more routes this past year. I had some friends in the Savannah area that contacted me, and I contacted Landon and his wife, and hopefully they got that worked out, and they're working on it. And he's wanting to expand his uh, FedEx business, and but he got out of Amazon also. He was the same way. Amazon. He had a couple of situations, small situations, and Amazon basically blackballed him for weeks at a time. I mean, he almost went belly up with Amazon, and that was his only thing. I mean, they about put him out of the trucking business real quick, and um, I feel like I came along and helped him. Well, I did. I came along and helped him, and we compromised and put some of our Amazon stuff together so he wasn't hurt, and then he was able to continue on, and he finally got out of it too. He When he got more into FedEx. He got the 2 runs from me, and then he was able to obtain a contract in Hickory also, and he's expanding and he's working hard. He's doing it the way that I built my business, and I'm real proud of him as far as the trucking part, and I'm real proud of him. Period. He's a great guy. Yes, it's hard to get the contract on FedEx. I will say that. It used to not be that hard, but to be a line haul contractor is pretty tough, and you almost have to go through a broker now, and I hate that for people because these brokers are sticking it to them, and sometimes these brokers are overpricing the routes. And if you could just go directly to the contractor and work out a deal, and that'd be easier. And that's what I was able to do for Landon. I was able to go contractor to contractor, and you know didn't have to go through some broker who took $1 million for doing nothing. Yeah, well, they are. These brokers are tough. They make it tough on the business, I think. And one of the big and the problem was we got one that got to be pretty big as a broker, and he was a FedEx contractor too. But then he got to thinking that he was bigger than anybody, and FedEx cut him off. I mean, he had 200 routes, and they basically he tried to come up with his own internal system, and FedEx basically said, "Hey, we don't need you anymore," and they cut his butt out, and they showed him right quick that you might think that you're big, but you're not so big that you can't be replaced. But he thought he was not replaceable, but they replaced him. And you got to follow the contract, and he thought he could modify the contract to suit him and get a bunch of other contractors to go along with him. And basically, he was trying to make his own little union, and it didn't work. Didn't work. Now he's still a broker out there. He's still selling routes, uh, but he didn't have the chutzpah. Uh, he didn't have the goods anymore like he used to. Well, yeah, those brokers that are dealing with that. There's a couple that are as honest as they can be, I guess, but there's a lot of them that are trying to make an arm and a leg, and they're going to get their money up front. That's the other thing. In other words, when you close the deal, they're going to get paid right then. Your deal may not pay you right then, but you're going to pay out their part right then and there. So it's a huge difference. But it's the best thing I think if somebody wanted to if it's possible. I mean, if you could make uh, contact with a contractor, whether it be this small package van or a line haul guy, if you can get a hold of the contractor and talk directly to them, they might could turn you on to somebody wanting to sell instead of going through these brokers. I mean, these brokers are you're not you're going to pay premium for it if you go through a broker. Yeah. Well, and that's true. I mean, it's I've seen too many of them. Seen too many of them, and it's tough. It's tough. I mean, you can actually get routes the hard way directly through FedEx now, but it's like I say, it's a hard way. It used to not be this way, but in the past 10 years, FedEx has made it tough to be a new contractor. It's tough. Oh yeah, everybody's out to make a buck. Everybody's out to make a buck, and that's the way the old cookie crumbles, you might say. But what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Well, y'all guys, let me know each Sunday if you're hearing anything different about FedEx. I like to stay informed with what's going on with FedEx all over the nation. I mean, I can keep up with it in my area and everything, but I mean, there's so many different areas that I'm seeing, and I keep with it a little bit through some forums too. I'm on a lot of different FedEx forums, and they're letting me know uh, through those what's going on in different parts of the United States. But I'd like to know from y'all guys. I trust y'all's opinion too. I talk with y'all every week, so uh, I'm pretty confident on what y'all see out there. I'm going back through my posts that I go back and forth and back and forth, reading and talking at the same time. So when you see me leaning over, I'm trying to catch up, but uh, I think that, like I said, I hope FedEx will make a good, smooth transition. We'll see. We'll see. Y'all keep me informed, and for the people that sign on afterwards, uh, email me or in the comments box. Just put your comments out there, what you see, and what's happening in your area, and we'll kind of keep this thing rocking and rolling. Well, guys, I'm about talked out. I'm gonna let it be a day for me. I hope you've enjoyed it. Give me a thumbs up or two thumbs up. We'll call it a celebration there, or give me, like I said, the old thumbs up. Give me the thumbs up there if you can. I like using those graphics that Apple has in there. Yeah. Well, I appreciate it, KW, and I hope everybody will come see me next Sunday morning. I'm gonna get out of here and get back to doing some things for the missus. And y'all take care till next week, and I'll see you around. Now, give me the old thumbs up, guys, so I can give me some thumbs ups. Now that'll help the old analytics out there. So smash that thing and make the thumbs up go up. Appreciate it, guys. I'll talk to you later.